All right, I think I saw a heart. Still showing zero views. So if anyone is listening, this is the first stream from Yo-Yo. So we got one person here. This is the first stream from Ubuntu 24. So it's a lot of difference in the software stack. So there could be some glitches tonight. Any issues? Any visible issues with the video or audio? I didn't put my timer on. Looks good so far. Oh, that's good. That's nice that it just barely works. So I guess as usual, I didn't publish any videos this week. I'll do a summary update on what I did, which is I guess still relevant for Linux enthusiasts. Just listening to the fan spin up. I'm also trying out there's a new like low power mode that exists in Ubuntu 24. So previously I was on Ubuntu 20, and I tried to go to 22, but I had a bunch of problems with it, so I just stayed on 20 for a while. But recently I decided, I should really do a reinstall, so I'll give it a shot going right up to 24. And just lots of differences. And one that's actually I think going to be useful is I think it actually started in 22. If you go and do the display properties, there's like on your laptop there's three like power modes. There's like high power mode and low power mode. And for the longest time, I've been trying to find a way so that I can like clock down everything. So I want it to be as slow as possible so that the fan is not constantly spinning up, because the fan in this thing is ridiculous, and it's really important for summertime. So I can't. It's really annoying to record stuff, and I have like a can of air that I've been spraying in the fan to try and cool it down, like halfway through recording sessions. It's really not ideal. So anyway, I think that will make things a lot better. But it also, I'm concerned it might cause like when the probably when the laptop heats up, it might start causing jitter or might crash. Or looks like it hasn't crashed. And didn't see any new chats recently. So I did. Actually, that takes me to my first point. Here is one of the issues, and this goes into why it's so, like, you would think streaming is easy, but so many weird tech glitches. So so the streaming computer is over there. It's got the fan spinning right up, and the monitor that I'm looking at the chat is right here, so it's good and close to me. Now, to connect that computer, the computer that's streaming, to the monitor here, I have a really long HDMI cable. I should have actually got a shorter one, but I got an extra long one just in case I need it. And to connect to this one, I guess it's probably too long, so it can't support a certain bit rate. And if I put this monitor at a 60 hertz refresh rate, if I'm displaying like something with a lot of content in it, like when I actually mirror what's on OBS, then it'll just start like blinking. It'll like shut off every once in a while. And then so what I have to do, what I was doing before, was I would change it from 60 hertz to 30 hertz, and that causes like no real perceptible difference, but so I can still read the chat, but and see what I'm actually streaming. But it didn't. It got rid of that shut off thing. But on when I went to Ubuntu 24, the 30 hertz option was missing. So I thought, oh geez, that's not I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm gonna have to mess around with xrandr to add a new 30 hertz refresh mode, and then hopefully get the 30 hertz. And then I tried adding that. I tried adding the extra option for 30 hertz display, which of course worked in Ubuntu 20. So why wouldn't it work in 24? And when I added it, I edited it a bunch of times. I had to figure out which monitor it was, and every time I would add it, when I tried to open Display Manager, it would completely crash, like the what was it, like the GNOME session, and it would say I had to log out and then log back in. So that was one of the glitches. For I'll just go over the list of issues I've experienced so far in upgrading. But fortunately, it comes with a default. It does allow you a 50 hertz refresh rate. So I changed it from 60 hertz down to 50 hertz, and fortunately, it's not blinking, and I can actually see what's on the monitor. So I'll just go with the 50 hertz thing. But it looks like there is still a few. I don't know. I think it's going to 24. It's reasonably stable. It's like there's still problems, but if you compare the problems to Windows, Linux is actually starting to get pretty good. So that was one issue I had. The next one was I went to scan something, and then I realized that the scanner program doesn't work. So then I installed the HP. There's like an actual HP software stack for it's supposed to be for all HP printers, and strangely it's linked to by the actual HP site, but they host it on SourceForge, and it's like this really sketchy looking thing, but you can verify the keys and stuff like that. So I went through that process, and through the process it actually says detected Ubuntu 24. We don't support this yet, but so we'll try and install it anyway. So it did install some scanning software, but that still did not work. So I was not able to scan anything on 24. So I just put I have another spare laptop, so I just put 20 on that, and then I was able to scan my stuff from it. Next issue was I looked for the disk creator tool I was creating another install image for something. Actually, to make that, I re-imaged another machine with the older Ubuntu 20, and I couldn't find the disk creator tool. That's a startup disk creator tool that seems to be on 20, and I guess I haven't really tried Ubuntu 22. The next thing I've noticed was, at least in one case, I think if I drag a window in a certain way, there's a weird bug where I get there's like an orange overlay on half the screen, and it just never goes away, and it's some kind of display or UI bug. But I think if you can kind of easily get rid of it if you just kind of drag another window around, then it just disappears. But it's just kind of a weird quirk. I also had a problem with the audio stopped working once, and I'm not 100% sure. That might be an issue with my hardware, because I've had that before, and for some reason it seemed to be when it goes to sleep, into sleep mode for a little while, and I think it might be some weird issue with my laptop hardware itself. So I'm not 100% sure if I can blame that on Ubuntu. Oh yeah, and probably one of the most annoying bugs that I encounter on a regular basis is when I first started it up, and one of the first things I do after I get booted up, I go Control-Alt-T to open a terminal, or even just if I click on the terminal icon. For some reason, there's a massive amount of lag the first time I open a terminal, and I don't know why. It's sometimes if I just do Control-T, it'll take 1 minute to open the terminal. But then sometimes I find if I just hold it and then I open 500 terminals, then it'll open them faster, but they open all at once, and now I have to close 50 terminals. So it's kind of a strange bug. It does have some weird, I think, display manager issues, which is unfortunate. Those are your favorite commands? Those are all those are very destructive commands. Yeah, so there's still some weird display issues. I also have noticed maybe it's related sometimes when I am opening a web page right now, it'll go through like lag spikes where just starting off the web page, it'll lag so much that it comes up with one of those things that says a script on this page is taking way too long. Do you want to quit? Do you want to force quit this thing or just wait for it? And I just click wait, then it'll eventually figure itself out, and I can actually interact with the page. But yeah, so some weird lag spikes. Hopefully, I didn't realize, but I don't know if this is official or not, or if it's a semi-official, but some people said that the long-term support versions are not actually long-term support until the first point version. So I think in August is when they're going to release the first point version. So maybe hopefully all these weird little quirks will be gone when they do the first update to number 24. Yeah, and I already mentioned the new power mode. That looks like it's going to come in handy. It's the first thing before I've gone into the BIOS and tried to disable cores and stuff like that to try and get it to slow down. I've tried that a few times with different kinds of settings that I've never been able to solve the issue with it making too much heat and spinning up the fans all the time. But this new power mode is the first time that it's the first thing that actually seems to work to slow it down. I accidentally knew SF the wrong partition one time on a production machine. That's rough. It's I guess you have to. It's necessary for production stuff. It's necessary to script things. I guess it depends how if there was any money loss or how high stakes it is. But ideally, you want to script what you're going to do and then propose it and then get write up a script and say going to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe even have one person write it and then another person execute it, and then the first person supervises, kind of like a pair programming thing. That's for high stakes stuff. That's a decent way to do it. That way, that'll prevent some of those issues. Yeah, and so this is also a good test stream because this is the first day when it's been fairly warm here. So it's been relatively cool before, so the laptop can cool itself off. So it's good to see that, even after, I guess I've been streaming for, how long? Probably, at least 10 minutes or so with the fan spinning up. It has not crashed or overheated. So that's that's good. Because those are the worst kind of problems to get, because if it just gets too hot and then, or if it's, I think what I'm concerned about is that it would start maybe giving choppy video or something, or start stuttering or lagging. But it looks like so far it seems okay. I don't see any complaints in the chat. Did it in 1997. There were not a lot of folks who could have supervised me. It's actually a mistype on my part. Yeah, you do what you have to get things going. Yeah, especially if it's like a startup or something and you're the only person there. But I guess in a way it's kind of good to make at least one of those mistakes in your career, because once you make one of those, then it gets burned into your mind and you don't do it again. Okay, so I complained about what doesn't work in Ubuntu 24, but there's a bunch of stuff that does work. And so I have a lot of web servers that I've installed, so quite a bit of different stuff like compiling my blog. There's a whole bunch of like kind of like latex packages and stuff, and all kinds of stuff. Too numerous to list. I also tested my my Brother laser printer. It works with that, and then also my Epson P900 printer, my color printer, that seems to work with it so far, and also the expensive German Linux software for color printing called TurboPrint, which I paid a couple $100 for. That works on Ubuntu 24, so that's a good relief. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff, and then I guess this is also the fact that this whole streaming setup works on 24 is I think a really good sign, and ultimately a good testament of like where Linux actually is right now, because having this level of software stack actually work for you is something that it would not be that surprising if it just didn't work for some reason on Windows. You never make that mistake ever again. Oh yeah, I always mispronounce that. Latex, not latex. I can't help. It's one of those things. It's like burned into my mind, and I keep pronouncing it the wrong way. I think I mispronounce Ubuntu wrong. I usually just say Ubuntu, but it's supposed to be Ubuntu, I think. But to me, it's that's kind of a weird one, because like Ubuntu sounds like it sounds like an English phoneticization of like a different language of in the native language, Ubuntu. And in general, I don't know what the like, if there's an official standard for how you're supposed to pronounce something that's in a different language. I don't know. It seems like there should be some international standard on it, because if you're not a native language speaker, you can't be expected to always pronounce stuff in the native language. Actually, there we go. Yeah, so next things. So I started work on my taxes this week. I got things balanced up until like the results from last tax year. Sometimes folks are nice enough to provide phonetics for you. That's rare. Yeah, I've actually never even learned. There's what is it, the IPA or something like that, the pronunciation language. I've never bothered to actually to learn that. Well, linguistics is can be pretty complicated and pretty interesting in a way, but it's one of those things I just never had time to focus on. So next thing was the rent eviction situation. That took up a little bit of my time. Worked on some stuff related to that. I also found out, unfortunately, the new owner did get their building permits, which I think it's kind of confusing, because on the building permits it says floors 3 to 15, but which is not actually the whole building. So I don't know. Not sure what to. Yeah, I don't know if that'll give them the ability to move forward with the eviction process or filing their application. KiCad. It's not KiCad. It's KiCad. because it's named after some dude named Key. Interesting. I think I've always called it KeyCAD. Yeah, that's the problem. Is I mispronounce something so much, and then I get it burned into my mind that way. Oh yeah, a funny thing related to my rent eviction situation. Yesterday I had another general inspection. So the new landlord wants to come in and inspect everything on a very regular basis. I guess looking for contraband, such as air conditioners, which I guess they I don't know what their complaint is going to be on that, but it's just something they've been using it as an excuse. They've been using extra appliances as an excuse to try and charge you more money, or say it bothers other people or something. So it's an unfortunate reality of the new landlord, but fortunately I don't have one set up. Oh yeah, and I worked on the Core Utils wrap-up post, so that's hopefully going to be, I'm not sure when I'll get that finished, but one of the next I'm probably going to do a video and a blog post just to kind of wrap up the Core Utils and make one page central page where it links to all the different Core Utils commands. And one of the last things I did this week was last week was when I just happened to notice that my block mining simulator doesn't work. The character widths are different for certain characters on Ubuntu 24, and so one of the things I'd always been wanting to do was add a dynamic, an empirical way to measure character widths. So from all the stuff I've done in experimenting with the command line, the only definite way to actually determine how wide a character is, in my opinion, is you have to print it to the terminal and then measure. So put the cursor to a known position and then print the character, and then find out what the new cursor position is, and then subtract that, and then use that to calculate what the empirical width of printing that character on the terminal is. That's the only reliable way I've found of getting character width. So I implemented something in the game that whenever it prints a character that it hasn't printed before, it actually just prints a test print up in the corner, and then it measures how wide it is, and then it kind of overwrites that, and then comes back down and then prints it at the location, and that's the way that it uses to figure out all the dimensions and stuff. So I implemented that, and so now it works. It should work seamlessly and display properly on Ubuntu 20 and Ubuntu 24, and presumably a lot of other environments. And as well, that should also fix, there's another issue with, if you go into the terminal, you can do, in compatibility, you can change character widths dynamically, or not dynamically, but you can, by changing this from narrow to wide, you can completely change how wide certain characters are. And of course, if you have a fixed hard-coded width that you're expecting for certain characters, then that'll break everything in the formatting. So now it works, I believe, seamlessly for both settings of the narrow versus wide characters. Yeah, so that's everything that I worked on this week. So let's, and so I took some of I made a better version of the changes that I had implemented last week and added those into the block game. So hopefully this doesn't spin up my fan. That's weird. It It's not supposed to output all that. Oh, nice. I just found a bug in real time. That looks like it's something is wrong with what would cause that? I tested that before. Maybe something about that screen width. Okay, that's working. So we'll work with this. Affinity Photo is 50% off right now. It's well worth the full price. So take a look if anyone has not already. Affinity Photo, I'm not familiar with that. Well, hello there. Hello there, Bradley. I don't know what this is, but I can barely hear you. What about now? I wasn't really, I was kind of mumbling. This should be my normal volume. So I figured out, I guess I noticed more apparently another bug in the game. Technically, you can dupe characters. Interesting. Yeah, that's weird. I saw someone else who was talking about in their stream. They said that for some reason, certain people on like Android phones or something like that, it was like a bug specifically with Android where no one in the stream could hear them. So yeah, that's my weekly update, and now I'm just gonna mindlessly play my block game. XV6. Not sure what XV6 is. Oh yeah, YouTube pushed out new audio codecs for live streaming, which broke a couple of instances where phones didn't have hardware for decoding that codec. So it played no audio. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if some of the audio issues that I had a while ago were related to that, because I messed around. I mean, there's so many potential sources of the issue. I did have problems with the audio cable for sure, but at the same time, when I did that, a couple of those tests, those audio tests, I had like literally the same setup, and one time people said it sounded like there was like a lot of wind or static or something, and then it didn't sound like that during the stream, but then afterward when I watched the audio, it definitely did. So not sure. Hopefully that just goes away and never comes back. I think that might have been when I had the old cable, but XV6 is a teaching OS based on original Unix. Interesting. Yeah, I've dug so much into Unix, original Unix, and like read the original manuals that I'm almost getting like tired of learning about original Unix. It's in the past now. Rent eviction situation. So I found out that the landlord got their permits, or I think they got the permits. The permits are only for some of the floors in the building, which doesn't include my floor. So I don't know what the implication of that is. So I guess they could. They would still have to file an eviction order. They'd have to file a case against me, and then it would have to go to the tenant board, and then they would have to get an eviction order from the tenant board. You might like XV6. It's really small. Yeah, if I remember, I'll Google it and give it a test. Okay, that's what my fan sounds like. How's the audio with that? I can't do much about this fan if it spins up. Do you not want to move for some reason? So I'm under, we currently have a housing crisis here in Canada, and I'm paying $1,100 a month for rent, but the market rate for an apartment here is like 20. It's like 20. I have a 2-bedroom, so it's $2,400. And I mean, there's some people who have lived here for like 30 years and stuff, like older people, and they're paying like a little bit less than me, but I'm really jealous of them because, you know, they at least got to enjoy many years of rent control, but I've only been here like 7 years, and then it's only been like in the last few years that the difference has been so much in the between the. It's only been a few years where rent control actually made a difference, and now that rent control actually makes a difference, they basically want to, there's a lot of money in buying buildings, and then you just literally rent evict everyone. So you go through and what their excuses, they're saying if you they have to replace all the pipes and stuff, but of course if they actually wanted to just do repairs, like if all they wanted to do was renovate, I would be okay with that. I wouldn't mind the inconvenience of like I could just not use the kitchen for, you know, even if they wanted like a month or something to actually renovate the kitchen. But of course they actually don't want to renovate. They don't care about renovating at all. They're just saying they want to renovate so they can get people out, because then as soon as they get people out, then they can move people in at the higher rent. So if they get me out of here, instead of bringing in $1,100, they're bringing in $2,400 a month. And if you multiply that by everyone in the building, which it looks like now they've already sent N13 rent eviction notices to maybe like about a third of the building so far. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I wish we didn't have to live in this kind of Like I think an N13 notice is actually a like there's a legal basis for an N13 eviction, and I think that it should be possible to evict someone if you need to do necessary repairs, which is what they're arguing. But I think that should be like, if the sewer system is broken, or if there's like, it's if there's like a pipe leaking or something. Like if I was a landlord and I had to evict someone because of necessary repairs, I'd probably first start by doing whatever I can to like accommodate them. I'd say like, okay, we can we can move you here, or we can change how we do the repair to make it quick or something like that. The whole point is to do the repair if you need to do the repair. But in this case, they don't actually, repairing stuff is not what they want to do. It's just they want to come in and tear out all the cabinets and stuff, and then it's they're going to put in like the cheapest stuff possible. I mean, it's honestly it's kind of a waste, because we're in a housing crisis right now, and we should be using every resource we have. But instead of like they want to replace my kitchen cabinets, but the kitchen cabinets I have are fine. They're just like, they're not super nice. I'm actually experiencing the exact opposite problem right now here in California. The rates got so high that demand has been met, but all the landlords refuse to lower rates. You should get a solicitor on speed dial. You mean like a legal representation? I have reached out to a paralegal, but it's the situation here is so bad that in my research I actually found a couple lawyers, and I was like, oh, this lawyer seems to know what they're talking about. They have experience doing N13s and stuff. And when I look at their page to contact them, they're saying that they're only accepting inquiries, right? Due to high volumes, we are only accepting inquiries from landlords. So even like, and it makes sense because the landlords are the one with the money, because they're charging insane rates. But the tenants are the ones who have no money. And why would you want to represent these poor tenants? Because they're totally broke and they don't pay bills and stuff. But I think it's realistically, I think of course you can't force. It doesn't make sense to force lawyers to represent certain tenants. The landlord or the lawyer has to make a decision about which type of person, is actually going to be a good customer, or like what type of law they want to practice, whether they want to specialize in, on the tenant end or on the landlord end. But that's I've thought about that. Like what is the extreme version of that? It's really like the breakdown of society that we're witnessing, because if all the lawyers got together and all agreed to do this, and then no lawyer, and then it was impossible to find a lawyer to represent tenants, then you could basically have all landlords, conspire to gang up on tenants. And I thought like this could generalize to other aspects of law, where if lawyers suddenly realized that it's way more profitable to only represent predators rather than victims in society, and then all lawyers basically just got together and like for example, if all lawyers just if people just started stealing things randomly, and then all lawyers agreed only to represent the thieves and then never represent the victims of theft, then that could be if they could collude together, that would be a very profitable system. Unfortunately, a lot of folks are not in business to be nice. Yeah, it's part of the reality of I think there's a lot of people that hate on capitalism, but I think capitalism works. It just needs guardrails, and the guardrails of capitalism are enforcement of the law. And one of the problems is that we don't have a lot of enforcement of law. There's apparently like mortgage fraud is apparently out of control here. Actually, there's a really popular or a really prominent news article going around about there was some guy was committing. He made like $100 million committing like mortgage fraud of like stole money from hundreds of people, and this guy took him to court, and then they had a really good case against them, but then they're like, oh, due to COVID, we're just gonna like let him go or something, and the guy shot him and some other person, and it's been a big story that's been trending. If you Google search for like on Ontario mortgage fraud case, there's probably you'll probably find some info on it. Come down south. I had the opportunity to leave Canada. I worked at a couple of big tech companies, and I decided that the tech culture, the work culture there was not really what I was looking for. But I mean, in hindsight, I could have been a multi-millionaire now. I used to work at NVIDIA, so I could have gotten stock options and worked there for the last 10 years. And I'd be, I wouldn't have made much on the salary, but I'd have made, be a millionaire many times over if I got those NVIDIA stock options. This laptop's having trouble keeping up. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how like the game is very simple, but it has so many bugs just due to I don't know, the difficulty of making a really consistent simple game. I'll have to implement some kind of like transaction management so that you can't dupe blocks. So the how is the audio right now with the laptop fan spinning? So I don't think I'll be able to get. There's nothing I can really do about that one. This is the quietest laptop that I have. Audio sounds fine to me. That's a good sign. Yeah, it's really weird why it was the audio was so bad those couple times. Maybe they were like, maybe I was in a test batch. They were testing the audio quality. See, I'm pressing M, and its wood block keeps going up. See how much it's going up? So I'm basically duping. I found a dupe bug in my game. Look how much my wood's going up. Oh, you can't see that. Huh. That's not good. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. You can't see my... Okay, there we go. Now you can see my inventory. Now see how much my wood block is going up? This is a dupe glitch in my game. So while it lags, it allows you to infinitely mine the same block over and over again. While I think it's lagging right now. I think probably because it's probably processing some write transactions. Yeah, I'm just holding the key, and so it's trying to. What it does, it looks to see if there's a block there, and then it sees, oh, there is a wooden block, so just mine that, put it in the inventory, and then. That's it. Actually, that's kind of. Oh, I know what's happening. So it's yeah, it's probably. I think it's processing. I have some kind of like a priority system. Like the messages can have certain priorities, and I think. Yeah, the mining. Yeah, I don't know why it's just never updating. There's two updates that need to go back to writes to the server. So it updates the inventory, and then it also has to update the block at that location. And if I take it off, so now it should actually mine the block. Process inventory add before removal. Yeah, I need like an actual transaction management system. It's technically you could run it in multiplayer, but there's like no consistency, so it'd be like race conditions on everything, and I guess you'd be able to like you could overwrite other players and stuff. So it's not good multiplayer. Interesting, it's still lagging on something. Well, I got lots of wood. Now I can go dupe some yeah, I do need a debug. That's one of the kind of well, I shouldn't say the next thing I was going to work on, but I do eventually plan to add some I mean, so many ideas. I could add like I need like a better kind of like windowing system so I can actually see stuff, and kind of add like extra modules and things, because there's lots of a need to display certain information. I'll get around to that eventually, maybe. Let me just quit. All right, have a good night. I should do the thing where I beg for channel members. Yeah, I guess I could do that. I guess I need more videos. I don't think begging really you know, it's not a good look, and it's not really what people want to watch. But if if I make a video that just gets lots of views, like that, how to make a CPU video, that was a real winner, because it's still getting tons of views. And it's a nice feeling to have something out there that I don't really do anything, and it just keeps getting views, and then people subscribe. And all right, let's mine a ton of this. Is there how to make CPU merch? I guess you could say you can actually buy. I've only made one sale on so far. You can buy some. I have some microchips, some of the silicon dies, in like little packages. All right, we got tons and tons of iron oxide and wooden blocks, so we can make 1 million mining picks now. So yeah, this is how you hack my game. Yeah, it must be. I'm using for single player mode. It uses SQLite, which I'm not really sure how the performance of that is going to scale. That might become a massive bottleneck, but we'll see. I'm not sure if I have like any indexes or anything on the database, but there's probably some performance tuning that I can do on the database end to make that faster. I'm gonna make a children's story about a guy named Robert making the first CPU. That'd be interesting. Baby's first CPU. Okay, this lag is really bad. I can't do anything. Yeah, that's going to be an important bug to fix. I'll have to figure out a better... I guess that's why they do the whole keyframing thing, where you're just like a floating head. So that way you'd actually be able to see. I guess I'll have to get a green screen. All right, let me just quit and then restart. Oh, it rolled me back. Yeah, I assume yeah, to remove the background, I could probably just get a green screen or something with a consistent color. And it's, I haven't looked, but it's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like built into OBS or something. All right, I can use that to make a lot of mining picks, but I can't actually do much with them because of the lag. keep in mind it'll bounce green light around. Recommend blue. I think they use green because it's specifically because it's, I don't know, something to do with probably the luminosity, and it's like it's not a common color. But the eyes are like 3 times more sensitive to green photons than other wavelengths. All right, there we go. Yeah, the lag is becoming pretty unbearable. I guess if I had some, like you say, if I had some debug output, I could kind of quantify how much, how many like pending transactions there are. Oh, I can actually mine stuff now. This is also a pretty slow laptop, so it's kind of expected. Yeah, that would be, well, I guess it depends if, in a game, if you want a game to feel responsive, you really have to, you have to provide like immediate feedback. In a really responsive multiplayer game, you have to like basically create a transaction, apply it locally, but then try to apply it remotely, and then if there is a conflict, like if 2 players try to move into one location, then that one of the people in that transaction, their transaction loses, and then you have to like basically rubber band and like jump back, undo the transaction in the local copy of the game. So it's that's why multiplayer game design is very complicated. Yeah, this has to be to make the game feel playable. There has to be some kind of like prediction mechanism. And I guess the simple one that I'll probably do with is just like have because the world's all blocks, I'll have a block change transaction and then apply it to the local game model, and then at the same time send it to server. And then if it doesn't, if the server does not confirm that transaction, then it'll have to be rolled back. And I guess in this case, the issue is it's lagging so much, it's piling up like a whole bunch of changes. Yeah, I have a lot of the code is common between the server and the client in this. Man, it doesn't want to mine that. There we go. Yeah, this is kind of unplayably laggy. And I think it also is, I can kind of feel it getting slower when the fan spins up. So I think it's like dynamically scaling up and down based on how much it's overheating. So when it's cooler, it's probably a bit more playable. All right. I think this is, I've explored the limits of what I'm going to learn from this tonight. So the lag definitely is a problem. Maybe I can look into seeing if there's a quick fix to add some database indexes. I don't know if I already tried that, but we'll see. Yeah, otherwise, I think I'll probably call it a night and try the same thing next week. And then hopefully it'll be, maybe it'll be a little bit cooler. Fans won't spin up as much. I recommend looking into multi-threading, object type of processing in thread pool rather than single thread. It's already multi-threaded, but even with the threading, like just if it's just having multiple threads is one thing, but you also need the threads have to be smart and they have to be doing lots of really smart message passing and blocking, stuff like that. I think I've actually got there's 8 different threads. There's a bunch of stuff in the game that's like horribly inefficient. I didn't really realize before, but the noise generation function is actually pretty important, which is, I guess, kind of why Perlin. It makes more sense to me why Perlin noise was so important. Just because the whole Perlin, the Perlin number set, just going through that, doing a simple calculation, it gave like decent randomness, but it was also very fast. And for this one, for initializing the uninitialized blocks, that turns out to be quite computationally expensive, because you have to generate all the noise values in that space and convolve them and stuff. And for mine, I decided I wanted to have really high quality noise, so I used the SHA-512 hash function, and then I use a few of those. Kind of made the noise function a bit overkill, and so that's made it very slow. So maybe I'll have to also put in Perlin noise. It would be cool if a game like Q World actually mine a kind of cryptocurrency. Yeah, I don't know. I think this game won't have anything to do with cryptocurrency, but I guess maybe I could make it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we could fit it in somehow for just the marketing win. MMORPG per. Okay, I think I'll probably call it a night. I'll try to do this same time next week. So fortunately, the new version of Ubuntu actually works. So I'm glad that nothing crashed. That's great. I can see the laptop over there is still going. I thought about a style of Ultima Online simulator that generate random worlds, and then it's fixed gold to hide e-gold in a game. Yeah, it would be. There's lots of. I mean, if I could get the client working decently well and kind of iron out some of the bugs, then I think there are a lot of other interesting ways that you could go with it. Having I don't know, tying it into some kind of making having a rich economy, I think really does make a good game. But anyway, I'll leave it there for tonight. See you next week, guys.